Welcome back into Beyond Ringside, back to basics on a topsy-turvy Tuesday. I was calling it Takedown Tuesday, but I kind of figured that had way too many connotations to go along with it. Fast Eddie Lane welcoming in good friend of the family with Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, the one and only Mr. Josh Wheeler. Josh, how you doing, my friend?
Hello. I'm doing well.
Oh, how'd the Braves game go?
There was about 4,000, maybe 5,000 people there, and they lost. I want to say it was 9-8. I don't remember the exact score. I think it actually was 9-8 because I remember Vizcaíno walked in the winning run.
We're working on the miracle, but I don't know how well it. I don't know.
They won 18 games. That's all I can say.
They won more than the Lakers, then, right?
I guess technically, we've actually had more shows in season 2 than they've had victories in season 2.
Speaking of, let's dive straight into it. This coming Sunday, 4 p.m. East. It's still 4 p.m. Eastern, right?
4 p.m. Fanatics Arena, 2800 Campbellton Road, 1 mile from Greenbrier Mall. And no, you will not get shot at this show.
Dope. Although if you piss off the right wrestler, you may get shot on, right?
That is correct. I mean, you know, I have a feeling that the city of Atlanta is now officially safer than Ringgold, Georgia.
Ooh, that was a work to begin with. Money changed hands, or at least that or somebody recorded a 5-minute greeting, but we're not going to go into that. Let's take a look at Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment getting ready to crown tag team champions. Brother, this has been a long time coming, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. 2 years in the making. Our first show was on June 22nd of 2014, and it opened with a tag match. So that should let you know that AWE has always been a fan of tag team wrestling. So to finally have 12 teams compete for the tag titles is quite an honor in itself, and to have the 12 teams that we have is pretty awesome too, because they've all wrestled at least one match in AWE except for 2 of those teams.
And I know one of them, and we're going to save that for the 4th bracket. I want to take a look at some of the brackets real quick. And folks, the reason why I'm sounding a little bit rushed, and so is Josh, his battery is a little bit topsy-turvy right now, so I want to get as much covered as I can before his battery goes boom. The Spring Street Suicide Squad, one of my favorite tag teams out there. Now, I'm going to mention all 3 teams, but I want you to discuss the bracketing, the way the brackets are laid out first as far as a 3-way dance. The Spring Street Suicide Squad, the Submission Squad, and the Beliebers all in one bracket.
Yeah, it's actually the ironic thing about that one, and I guess you can call it the story point, is the first time Ken Lee and Chris Kronk ever teamed up was against the Submission Squad in a 6-man tag match at Destination Atlanta back in October of Season 2 at the Masquerade. And ever since then, you know, they've had, you know, some little run-ins with the Beliebers, and Austin Blackburn left the Submission Squad and kind of did his own thing with Everett Connors, and now the Submission Squad's coming back to town and looking for tag team gold. So it's a nice little, like, you know, paying a homage to the storytelling of Season 2. And hey, you know, this is the Spring Street Suicide Squad. This is a chance for their redemption, but it's not gonna be easy because the Submission Squad and the Beliebers are 2 of the best teams in the St. Louis area. So I'm really excited about this one, and I think a lot of the people that follow what we do are excited about it too.
In the next bracket, Aaron Epic, Martin Stone versus the Insiders versus From the Hierarchy, the Being of Unspeakable Horror, Iceberg, and Jimmy Rave, the crown jewel. Josh?
Look, I have no control over what happens. All I know is that we, the management team was sitting together, and Epic and Stone made a tag team, and they wanted a chance to win the tag titles, and they're best friends, you know, outside of wrestling. So I was like, hey, you know, we really want to, you know, bring our friendship to the forefront. We were like, okay, cool. Well, Ace Perry and Slade Porter have created a nice little tag team, the little frat boys that come out and get the party started, and fan favorites. And then all of a sudden, you know, I'm being told, hey, the Hierarchy's got 2 teams in this tournament. I'm like, if you say so. So Jimmy Rave and Iceberg decided they wanted to be in the same match as Martin Stone and Aaron Epic. So
now, in another,
kind of how it works.
This is the paradigm in play. I was about to say paradigm shift in play, but the paradigm hadn't shifted yet. The Kraken, Do or Die Chip Day, the urban legend Murder One in the bracket. David Starr and my brain just went blank. Shane Strickland. Shane
Word.
Strickland. Now, for some reason, my brain just went blank on the and the A. Shane Strickland, David Starr. And in the same bracket, Owen Knight, Gary J.
Yeah. This one is going to be insane. Like, there's just no way you can not look at that three-way and be like, holy hell. You go back to Fall the White Rabbit 1, then the match that Chip Day and Shane Strickland had, it really put AWE on the map. It really made people say, holy shit, this company's no joke. And then just the fact that what David Starr has done all year long at AWE since he debuted, and now it looks like he's a target of the hierarchies with Adrian Armour's affiliation with the hierarchy and that whole feud, and it's just that's just insane. And then Owen Knight and Murder One have personal history, and Gary J was just looking for an opportunity, and Owen Knight was looking for a partner after the guy he wanted to be his partner decided to join the hierarchy. So some things happen, and it's a wild card team, and we'll see how they do.
In a bracket that has the potential to be the most violent ever, I'm going to take two teams, and I'll let you have the honor of the third one. The Sound and the Fury. Joe Black, William Huckabee, one of the hardest hitting tag teams and one of the most sound tag teams you will ever see. Team IOU. Nick Iggy, Kerry Awful. Once again, one of the most sound teams you will ever see. Not to mention, you ever let Kerry Awful get a bee in his bonnet, there will not be a wall standing. He will walk straight through the SOB. And the third team in that bracket, Josh?
The world's cutest tag team, former Pro Wrestling Guerrilla Tag Team Champions, viral sensations on YouTube and Vine. One's been on the cover of Rolling Stone. One's been featured all over the wrestling community for years for her intergender actions. They're the Bible Belt's favorite tag team. It's Joey Ryan and Candice LeRae, and very excited to bring them to the South. Very excited to bring something different to the South. But, I mean, just going back to the Season 2 stories, the tag team scene really heated up when IOU and Huck and Black came to town. And for them to meet in the first round of this tournament just shows you just how deep the tag division has become and just how volatile the tag division is. And holy cow, I mean, that probably is the three best teams in the tournament on paper. And they're in the first round against each other.
This one, now, I've watched matches between IOU and Sound and Fury. They are atomic bombs primed for the button to be pushed. And I almost have to wonder, now you got to remember, I'm looking at this from a strictly analytical standpoint. How much of a genuine chance do you give? And I know the answer to this question, but I'm asking it anyway. Joey Ryan and Candice LeRae, if they get in the middle, or will they be smart enough to stand back and just watch IOU and Sound and Fury explode and take advantage of the moment?
Well, and that's where I think the formatting is very interesting, too, because they are elimination matches. So, each team has to be eliminated in this tournament, and at the end of the night, there will only be one team left standing. This was the same format we used for last year's To Be the Man Championship to tournament to crown the champion, the Georgia Wrestling Crown. So it's the same format, and if you're Joey Ryan and Candice LeRae, you're new, why not just let those two teams beat each other up?
Now, the one thing that I think I got a little bit confused on, the first round matches, are they one fall or are they all elimination? Then
they are elimination, yes. You must, each team must be eliminated from the tournament.
Thank you. That is, like I said, I wasn't sure. And once again, you know what happens when people assume. I don't assume, I ask.
Right. No, but yeah, they are elimination style, which means each team must be eliminated. There will be no, they didn't pin us, we're the number one contender. No, there's none of that. At the end of the day, whoever wins the tournament wins the tournament. And they're the tag team champions, and everybody else has to start over from the bottom. Now,
of course, I'm going to ask, ticket availability.
There are plenty of tickets available. You can go to AWEBobbyandStan.eventbrite.com right now. Use promo code Father's Day. You can get in for as low as $10 before fees for general admission. Front row's almost sold out. Second row, $25. Use that promo code to get $5 off there. And third row, also almost sold out, but you can use that promo code and get $5 off. And if you buy a seat, it is a VIP ticket. You will get a chance to get in early, see the pre-show, meet Joey and Candice, and anybody else that wants to to set up a merch table a little bit early.
Now, I have been asked by a couple of people, with the name of the tournament being what it is, I'm going to ask you the question that I have been asked. Is there any possibility whatsoever that Bobby and Stan are actually going to be there?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, considering the name of the tournament is Bobby and Stan's Most Excellent Tag Tournament.
Well, yeah, but I mean, my dad's name was Bob and our referee Stan. So what made you think it was just about Bobby and Stan?
Like I said, I'm going off what I was asked. I'm relaying questions.
I know. No, there is no chance that the Midnight Express will be there, because wouldn't we then call it the Midnight Express Most Excellent Tag Team Tournament? No, we called it Bobby and Stan to keep it kind of ambiguous.
There you go. There you go. So, folks, for everybody who's been asking me, you got it straight from the man himself. Doors open. What time again?
Doors will open at 3 p.m. for VIP ticket holders. They'll be open at 3:35 to 3:45 for anyone without a VIP ticket. So get your tickets early. There's, like I said, there's still a few good VIP seats left. There's plenty of general admission because the FedEx Arena is quite large. And look forward to seeing everybody out there and enjoy tag team wrestling. We also have a singles match on the docket between Trip Cassidy and Connor Claxton. For those that don't know Connor Claxton, he is a part of the Nation of Intoxication of Combat Zone Wrestling, and I believe he was just in the Tournament of Death
15, yeah.
And also Cold Hard Defense Contractors have issued an open challenge to prove why they needed to be in the tag team tournament, and that will happen during our pre-show. So
nice. So in other words,
we will also hopefully, and just to throw this in there, we are going to try to get a few minutes with Adrian Armour to discuss with him everything that happened at our last event where he decided to join the hierarchy after winning the number one contendership to face Jimmy Rave. So a lot of stuff going on with AWE. Season 2 finale is July 17th, also Fanatics Arena, and we have Sami Callihan returning to face Martin Stone, and that one's going to be probably – that might be one of those matches where you sit back and say, holy shit, that's a match of the year candidate, because those two guys are both beasts, and they both have a lot to prove in Atlanta. We all have a lot to prove in Atlanta because, we've been doing this for 2 years, and people are still sleeping on us. So it's time to stop sleeping and realize, hey, this is the future, and this is what we're doing.
Folks, I'm going to say
unless somebody else wants to come to the city and try to do better, there's your open challenge.
No challenge needed on that one, because I'm going to sit back and say this one, folks. For your entertainment dollar, AWE has it every time. I have had the privilege of being at a number of their shows. I was supposed to be at the last one. Josh, you won the bet, so I owe you the varsity.
I did. I don't want the varsity. We'll go somewhere else.
Full cart.
That'll work.
Okay, because that gives me a cheap excuse to go back for the Triple D burger. I love that thing. Tried it twice, going back for the third time. No, unfortunately, like I said, everybody knew I was supposed to be there. I had a family situation come up that I did not see coming. My phone rang it's like, no, because it's not the factor that it was family involved in the situation. It's the fact I hate losing bets, okay? Especially food bets. I can handle losing money. I hate losing food. That means that's just a me thing, though, because I don't make money bets, especially not with people I like, and especially not with friends. I don't make money bets. I make food bets, and those hurt worse than losing money. Money I can make back.
They do.
Food I have to watch go away. It's like, no. So, yeah, post-game party will be – yeah, is there a slated post-game party for after this show?
You never know with us. I mean, there is that pay-per-view or network special, what do they want to call them now. So whatever. Who knows what we'll do. We may go do some things with, I don't know. Like, I never know after the show. Like, lately at most of the shows, people are buying me so many Kool-Aids that I can't remember my name by the time 8 o'clock rolls around. So will
the bar be open?
But hey, keep buying the Kool-Aids because, it helps our bar tab and helps us not have to worry about paying too much rent. Thank you. So, yeah, that's pretty much how it works.
So I will safely assume the bar will be open this coming Sunday.
Oh, the bar will always be open when an AWE show's in town.
We do ID, kids, plain and simple. Don't get any wise-ass ideas.
That's in the clubs on that one. So, but yes, they do ID.
Josh, always a pleasure, my friend, and I'm looking forward to this coming Sunday. Do you want to unveil what we have discussed in the past, or are we just going to leave this one sitting on the burner?
Let's keep leaving it sitting on the burner until it's definitely etched in stone.
You got a deal on that one. Ladies and gentlemen, Josh Wheeler with Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment right here on Back to Basics. Hang tight. This train rolls on in just a moment.
What's up, everybody? This is Jimmy Rave, and you're listening to the only Jimmy Rave approved radio show. You're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
The To Be Determined show live Wednesday nights, 9 Central Standard Time. Join myself, the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, the Grand Design, Clyde Braddock, and the Magic City Man Rep, Fast Eddie Lane, as we take you to the edge of uncensored. Yes, we go uncensored, so make sure you have your earmuffs. Ask your parents, for those of you that are a little young, maybe under 18, but make sure if you have any heart conditions or any mental defects, please listen, because they may take effect right here live every Wednesday night, 9 Central Standard Time. Beyond Ringside Radio Network, beyondringside.com.
Hello again, everybody, and this is Stan Grubb for Corner to Corner Radio for the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. Join us every Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with myself, Rob Hefner, and Brian Taylor, as we bring you our thoughts and feelings on the world of professional wrestling and everything in between. As my good friend Rob would say, from corner to corner and pillar to post, we bring it to you every week. We look forward to seeing you. Thanks again for listening to the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bill Darrens, and you're watching, you're listening, you're experiencing Beyond Ringside, and you are a better person for it. Trust me.
The Mad Dog's House of Pain, the only nationally licensed pro wrestling school in the state of Alabama. Mad Dog Dan Sawyer, trained by the Junkyard Dog, will be your trainer. You want to be a professional wrestling superstar? Learn from GCW's own Mad Dog's House of Pain. With over 22 years experience, learn from the Mad Dog's House of Pain. 205-567-6482. Start your career today. Call 205-567-6482.
This is Harley Race, 8 times NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, first ever King of the Ring, and you're locked into Beyond Ringside.
This is Danny Cage from the world famous Monster Factory, and you're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
It's been a crazy night. Loved every second of it. On the live edition, it is 14 minutes before the top of the hour on this 14th day of June. Actually getting ready to hit Wednesday over in the Eastern time zone. Slated to be joined in just a couple of seconds by tag team partner from the Shooters Gallery, Shane Noles, coming on in just a couple of minutes. Looking forward to a great weekend, and there is one match in particular that I want to talk to Shane about that is going to take place this coming Saturday night in Carrollton, Georgia at Central Elementary. I want to say a very special thank you to Josh Wheeler for coming on in a short amount of time. And like I said, I kind of let everybody know. Josh let me know in advance that his phone was running really short and that he wasn't going to have much time left on it. And that's why we wanted to cover as much ground as we could about the show this coming Sunday at AWE as we were able to. Because, when Josh's phone is going up to speed, there's no limit on the number of different topics that he and I will cover. And always makes for great conversation and always a lot of fun to have Josh Wheeler on. With everything going on, with Money in the Bank being this weekend, and I've been asked, it's like, you're going to, yes, in a heartbeat. Because, okay, here's the scoop of the scenario. For as much as I enjoy the concept of watching a show unfold live, such as what's going to happen at Money in the Bank, and WWE knows that the matchup that they've slated between Styles and Cena is, it's an early Christmas present for a ton of people, myself included. I have the opportunity to work with a promotion this coming Sunday, and I don't like to let those opportunities slip by. So that's where I'm going to sit back and say, from this vantage point, I will gladly and easily make that trip. See, I'm doing the back-to-back. And Josh and I actually had the conversation off air, and I will go ahead and pass this one along. We will be doing a live post-show broadcast from the Fanatics Asylum, immediately after Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment's live event this coming Sunday. Because of the fact that it's going to be a post show, I can't tell you what time it's going to be. I can do everything I can to activate the network as far as social media goes. But I have some brand new equipment coming into play this weekend, and it's going to be an very unique exercise, which reminds me I've got to order 2 more pieces, but they'll be here long before Saturday when I hit the road. Because when I hit the road Saturday, I'm staying in the Peachstate of Georgia until Monday night. I'm taking a me day Monday. Catch me if you can. And this is something that I will sit back and say 7 days a week. I'm a workaholic, and I admit that. I am a road destroyer, not to mention a tire rim destroyer. Oh, no, the tire rim wasn't my fault. That was Alabama Department of Transportation's inability to take care of the freaking roadways. Yeah. For everybody who lives in my home market of Birmingham, if you're driving on Interstate 459 southbound around Acton Road, unless they've gotten it fixed by now, please be careful because there is a pothole, and if you're driving at night, you'll hit it, and it'll destroy your rim. And the state of Alabama accepts no responsibility whatsoever for your personal hardships on the roads, which is utter crap in my book. You know, but also taken into consideration, like I said, Saturday night Peachstate live show. Then Sunday, live post show at AWE, and we're going to have something we're unveiling this coming Sunday. So we're playing something a little bit close to the vest, and for everybody in attendance, you're going to get a little surprise. And I'm looking forward to it. So there. And of course, you heard earlier that Phil Stamper will be making an appearance at Base Brawl this coming Saturday with MCW. Of course, tag team partner Shane Noles. From the Shooters Gallery, of course, in the main event at Peachstate this coming Saturday night. From there, tag team partner on GCW Radio and the host of the To Be Determined show. Of course, the Necessary Evil, the Wicked Nemesis, will be a part of that main event at Peachstate this coming Saturday night. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to see some friends that I haven't seen for a little while. And for the record, I'm going to have a rental car this weekend. But when watching the scenario unfold last night in the tag team area, with the New Day going into a fatal 4-way tag team match, with Gallows and Anderson in the mix, with the Vaudevillains in the mix, and with Enzo and Cass in the mix, I have to wonder what happened with the Dudleys. I really do. Because the farm had been bet by so many people that the Dudleys would win that tag team strap one more time in the early phase of their run in WWE. I didn't bet the farm, but I made a lunch bet that I said 6 months. And from that vantage point, it's really quite surprising. Because sooner or later, those belts are going to go to the Dudleys one more time. I think it's inevitable. I think it's still going to happen. I think it should happen. I think that even without them, though, the Dudleys are still the most decorated tag team. And this argument always comes up. As in the Dudleys versus the Steiners versus the Road Warriors. You have to remember something. The Dudleys picked up the WCW tag team straps under the banner of WWE. That's not their fault. They weren't genuinely the WCW tag belts. Oh, hello. So it comes down to the fact that also from there, the Road Warriors were not able to pick up the TNA tag team straps. But they are WWE, NWA, and WCW, as well as how many other different organizations. So everybody's still going to have And I'm pretty sure that if Hawk was still with us to this point, the Warriors would have had at least 2 or 3 more championships under their belts. I hate the fact that he's gone. I've hated that fact for a long time. But by the same token, I also have to sit back and smile for a little bit because of the emergence of Precious Paul Ellering, leaving the Precious off, at NXT TakeOver. With the Authors of Pain, I'm wondering how they came up with that name. Because that sounds like a Paul Jones name. Look it up. It really does. So everybody can have their agreements, their disagreements, and agree to disagree when it comes down to who's going to be classified as the greatest tag team or the most decorated tag team. Because remember, I'm still adding Terry Bam Bam Gordy and Dr. Death Steve Williams into that greatest category. Granted, they didn't do that much here domestically. But internationally, you have to give them their due. They were a phenomenal team. I hate the fact that both are gone, but by the same token, unfortunately, Father Time does not take a timeout. Not even if you're hiding in a pocket dimension. Thank you, comic book storylines. And no, I still haven't gone to see X-Men yet. I'll go sooner or later. Like to welcome in good friend of the family and tag team partner on the Shooters Gallery, the man behind the desk at Peachstate Wrestling Alliance, Shane Noles. What's up, brother?
Eddie, thank you for having me. I just felt like I had to barge in this evening if you had any room for me on the program. We missed the Shooters Gallery last Thursday, and I've got some things that need itching because, they're itching. They need scratched, and just needed to converse with you, sir. So thank you for having me.
Bring it on, brother. By the way, I got to ask this.
Ahead.
Do we have a series now?
Oh, you texted me earlier today about Vegas Betty. I didn't get a chance to talk to you, so it looks, right in hindsight. But when the crotch kicker, as Eddie Lane has called him, Draymond Green, was suspended, I felt in my heart of hearts that Cleveland was going to win this game. In Golden State, which only 2 teams have been able to do this season, the Boston Celtics, Oklahoma City Thunder. Now you can add the Cavaliers to that, but
right.
It's hard still for me to say that a team that lost 9 games all year long and never lost more than 2 in a row could lose 3 in a row to end the season. But records are made to be broken. And I do think we have a series now because I think a little bit, as crazy as this sounds, the pressure is on Golden State, I think a little bit in Game 6. Because as we know, in Game 7s, all bets are off. Home court doesn't mean a thing. And if I'm Golden State, they're going to be bolstered by that return of Draymond Green to the lineup. I would do my damnedest to close it out in 6.
It's going to be a dogfight, and it's going to be Thursday night, so we'll be talking about it as it unfolds.
Whew.
Either that or we'll be coming on board just as the game wraps up.
Yeah, well, at least it now has some intrigue, because I think a lot of people didn't think we were going to see 6, myself included. I thought over in 5, and if Green had not been suspended, who knows? But the crazy thing is, other than one game, and I give a lot of credit to Cleveland's defense, but at the same time, we just haven't seen the Warriors be the Warriors this series. And somehow they've managed to win 3 games with only really one typical Golden State performance. I can't imagine if they get things clicking.
I don't know if they'll be able to get things clicking. I know that they've performed in hostile territory all year long. But this time, in Cleveland, with so much on the line. Considering the factor of the performances that Kyrie and LeBron had, considering the other role players who came off and just put things in place, you know that the Cleveland fans, when they have a rallying point, can just blow it up 12th man style. So I'm almost beginning to wonder, has last night given them the confidence that they need on the court and in the stands to where they can make one more good stand to take it to a Game 7 this coming Thursday night?
Yeah, and I think, Draymond Green not being there, that's beside the point. They now know in their minds they can win at Oracle Arena. They've done it. And if they get that thing back to a Game 7, you know, as I said, all bets are off. Home court doesn't matter. It's a battle of wheels. And, you know, if it gets to that point, LeBron James, you know, with one game to go to win a title for his hometown Cleveland, which is the whole reason he came back, I don't know if they could stop him.
Win, lose, or draw, is Kevin Love still a Cavalier next year?
I hate to base things on one series, but I think it's become abundantly clear. Kevin Love works against 29 other teams in the association, or 28. He does not work against the Golden State Warriors. And I think they're there to stay, and Cleveland may have to make some adjustments. As crazy as that sounds, an all-star forward in his prime, he just doesn't match up with Golden State that well. They're better with him not on the floor. So I would say they'd be doing their damnedest to try to move him, I'm sure.
Therein lies the funny part about the whole situation, because there are times when it doesn't look like Kevin works with the Cavaliers.
I know. He just doesn't seem invested. And that's odd because, you know, against other teams in series, like he was so instrumental against the Atlanta Hawks. And I know different defenses, different matchups are the name of the game, but he just seems lost out there.
He does. And that's the sad part of the whole scenario. He does genuinely seem lost sometimes. But I genuinely hope that he can find his GPS and kick that SOB straight into overdrive Thursday night in Cleveland. I mean, you go and you're part of a triad and a team that everybody wants to win that championship. And I honestly feel that this is Cleveland's best chance, unless they find the right person. I mean, of course, I'm also the one who sits back and says there is a strong possibility in my world, in my way of thinking, Kevin Durant becomes a Laker next year.
Probably one of the most sought-after free agents in NBA history will be the Durantula.
And just something in my gut is telling me he's going to be a Laker next year.
One theory that I think about that I haven't really given much thought about Durant, but I think about Kevin Love going to the Lakers, being a UCLA Bruin, as well as his teammate and currently Kevin Durant's teammate, Russell Westbrook, being a free agent next season, if both of them would come home, so to speak, to Los Angeles. And if Durant does that, that may get the ball rolling.
I think if Durant does that, Westbrook will not go.
Ooh.
You can see a little bit when they do post-game conferences, win or lose, that Westbrook wants to be his own person. And based on what I've seen, Russell Westbrook cannot be his own person as long as Kevin Durant's on the roster.
True. He can't be Batman when there's another Batman there.
Right.
He's always going to be Robin to some regard.
Well, therein lies the funny part. Nobody ever thinks about the damn Justice League. Okay, we got Batman, we got Superman, we got Aquaman. Who wants to be Aquaman? Nobody half the time.
Poor Arthur Curry.
I mean, really now, come on. There's nothing wrong with being Aquaman, because underwater, he's as strong as Superman and can swim faster than Clark can.
I was going to say, he's a friend to every fish in the sea.
Fish are our friends, not food. And I cannot believe they made Finding Dory.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I know. But I've taken it this far. Sir, you said you had some itches that you wanted to scratch. Fire away.
Well, it just could not wait until the Shooter's Gallery. Some of these things, I don't know what you've been talking about on the program, but I look forward to listening to the archive, Back to Basics previous. But I just, with this brand split coming now of WWE, and this is a question I want to pose to you because I've wanted to ask you all week, how careful do they have to be by making sure all these NXT call-ups aren't really just slid over to one side? Do they really have to divide all the 13 or 15 NXT call-ups within the last 6 months? And also, how careful do they have to be to make sure NXT is still an established brand?
I don't think they're going to have to worry about too much about NXT being a different brand all into itself, because that was pretty much made clear by Hunter, because it's gone way past the point of being just the developmental brand or the training or the performance centers brand it is its own animal. And then with them having another MOTY candidate between Austin Aries and Shinsuke Nakamura on TakeOver, yet again, another scenario comes into place where NXT has its own identity. And there are people, go figure this one out. You have people banging at the door to work in NXT more so than you have people banging at the door to be on Raw or SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
So I think NXT will continue to flourish. I think it'll continue to grow. But as far as the brand split goes, I think they have to be very meticulous on who they put there. Earlier in the show, I was actually discussing one of the tag teams that I think, you get that vibe when you're looking at a product and it's like you go person, which one of these doesn't fit the other? It's like, okay, Washington Delicious, Ruby Red, Roma, and then a Granny Smith. Which apple doesn't go with the bunch? Granny Smith, of course, being tart and sour, the rest of the other three being sweet. So that's my logic. I figured that, and the first time I looked at the Vaudevillians on the Raw brand, on the Raw product, I immediately said they're a SmackDown team.
Yep.
But by the same token, I look at Sami Zayn, Raw.
Yeah, it's almost funny. Like you have that perception of guys, and that's the thing too. We're thinking of SmackDown as it is now, but moving to live Tuesdays, is this still going to be treated as the redheaded stepchild of WWE programming, or is it going to be given its own separate entity to flourish? With this.
The only reason why the previous brand split didn't work is because SmackDown was pre-recorded. You had people that were reading spoilers. Look, for those who read the spoilers and still watch the program, you saw the fact that the program blew out the spoilers. Now, by the same token, when you take SmackDown live and you've got back-to-back WWE shows, here's the part that bothers me, folks. When you have Raw on the front part of the week directly after a live event on the network, and then you have SmackDown the next night after that, that means you are going to have, with the exception of NXT Wednesdays, if they keep it there, you're going to have that 3 to 4 day window where WWE is going to be out of sight, out of mind. Whereas the way it is now, with Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, you have WWE in your line of sight 2 to 3 days out of the week. If WWE is smart, here's your fun. They will at least once per month on location do a live Saturday night, like Beast from the East or the Madison Square Garden show, or when they do NXT on Saturday night before a pay-per-view or live event on the network.
Give us that Saturday night's main event
bingo
flavor. Yep.
Bingo. Except I don't know if they'd have the intelligence to write Saturday night's main event the way they used to. No, they even made. Go ahead.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong on this. It wasn't SNME, Saturday Night's Main Event, a 90-minute format.
It was 90 at one point, then went to 60.
Okay, that's what I thought, because I remember it would come on in the 11:30 time slot, usually for Saturday Night Live, and go to 1 Eastern.
Right, and that was especially when SNL was a 90-minute format.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that was the part that really bothered me, to the fact that they took it down to a 60. But considering the drought on the writing side, Saturday Night Live has some excellent on-screen talent. Their writing sucks.
Well, I was going to say, I think Kate McKinnon is one of the freshest comedians I've seen in years on the female side. Sometimes I feel like she's handicapped with the roster of SNL, the players. It just doesn't. It's become passé to say SNL's not what it was, but I'm like you. When they get out from under the SNL brand and still make movies or appear on other networks, they flourish.
Yeah. Do me a favor. Let me segue for a second. Have you seen the trailer for American Ninja Warrior for this week?
I have not.
They have someone that has not been in the national eye in a number of years. He's still working with a number of different companies AIW and let's see, AIW Grand Slam and possibly MCW, as well as a couple other companies. Zach Gowen participated on American Ninja Warrior this week.
Wow, I did see some things about Zach Gowen on social media, but I didn't have time to click to see exactly what the hubbub was about. But that's pretty cool.
This week's episode of American Ninja Warrior features Zach Gowen, a name that I find myself quite surprised to say.
Yes.
So, guess who else is going to be picking up a ton of indie bookings now? He's back. And but the thing about it is, I'm also going to sit back and say, I'm sure that he's learned some lessons after his ordeal with Vince, because that just was apparently from what I'd heard. And once again, I'm going on hearsay on this one. The fact that Zach became a little bit of a diva himself while under WWE contract. And when Vince had the opportunity to kill that deal, bye-bye, aloha, see you later. But I've also heard some good things about Zach Gowen in some of the companies that I referenced a little bit earlier, with him and Gregory Iron in the combination of the Handicapped Heroes as well as Zach in singles competition. So I'm going to leave that at that. Turning it back to you, sir. Ball's back in your court.
Well, I've got one more for you, Eddie. Another hot take. Ichiro Suzuki, at the age of 42 years old, still playing professional baseball in the major leagues, has since 2001. Not sure if you saw this. The all-time hit king, Pete Rose, has a huge problem with people even acknowledging the fact that Ichiro is about to surpass the all-time professional hits record. Because when you take into consideration his 9 years in Japan with 8 batting titles and the over 1,500 hits he accumulated, he's closing in on 3,000 here in professional baseball in America. He will be the all-time hit king in professional baseball, not Major League Baseball. And people have been very clear on that. But I get Pete Rose. He's still the all-time hit king. That's how he signs his balls when he, signs memorabilia half a mile down from Cooperstown every year. We can't take that away from him. But I thought it was so backhanded to just take all these cheap shots, because there were several that I read from Pete Rose at Ichiro Suzuki. And I'm like, when has Ichiro ever fanned the flames of controversy ever? Not once. No. And, this guy's just been a true professional. I got the opportunity to see him a couple of weeks ago when I took my dad to the Braves game. He's a outfielder for the Marlins at 42 years old. In batting practice, still spraying hits anywhere he wanted to for the game, 2 for 5 with a double and 2 runs scored, still getting it done. But your thoughts on that? Because, to me, you have to acknowledge him as the all-time hit king in professional baseball. Pete Rose is still the all-time hit king in Major League Baseball.
Okay. Up until this past Monday on Raw, nobody would contemplate the notion of acknowledging the fact that AJ Styles held championships in PWG, Ring of Honor. Well, I don't think he held that many in Ring of Honor, but as well as
what a shock that was to hear John Cena or anyone mention ROH on WWE Pro.
Well, remember CM Punk did in the infamous shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll take it back to Ring of Honor with me. Hi, Colt Cabana. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Colt wasn't even there at the time. He is now. Finally. But from that vantage point, remember, even Layfield acknowledged New Japan when Styles first came on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
But they'd never, and Phil Stamper seems to have a little bit different take on it, because the fact that he felt that they've already referenced PWG before. I've never heard them on air reference PWG, and I've never heard the almighty face that runs the place acknowledge any other company. And he acknowledged PWG, ROH, and New Japan in one breath, and said, while I've been here for over 10 years winning 15 world championships, AJ Styles has been around the world, possibly even winning more than 15. I'm like, whoa.
Well, I've got to say for that, that was music to my ears, because over a month and a half ago, I believe on Shooter's Gallery, I had a last call about that. But, acknowledging other promotions and not insulting fans' intelligence that these things actually occur.
I said all that to say this. Domestically, if this were 20 years ago, before the advent of the internet in its truest form, not just a place for porn, Pete Rose could make that comment. because you didn't have that many people keeping statistics and keeping track of what's happening in different markets. Now you have people paying attention to Japan. You have people paying attention to Cuba and Puerto Rico and Venezuela, all the different places where baseball takes places internationally. Rose is the old guard. Something I've been called before. Rose is the old guard. Before everything else was taken into consideration. If Ichiro is to be known as the all-time professional baseball hit king, you do have to put a specific tag on that. Because domestic fans, sorry folks, here we go. This ain't Thursday, this is Tuesday. Got a 2-shot Derringer ready now. Kept it down on my ankle in my sock. And yes, I wear odor ears. But, sorry. But, if you want to put an asterisk on everything, which so many people do in this timeline, you can refer to Pete Rose as the all-time MLB, Major League Baseball, hit king. Easily. He's worked for and deserves that honor. But MLB, while they do have a nice working relationship with Japan, they do not have a pipeline back and forth. Japan is Japan, America's America. I will graciously and easily and professionally acknowledge when Ichiro hits that plateau and shatters that wall, that he is the king. But I will also have to sit back and say, without any hesitation whatsoever, considering the fact that as a country we recognize MLB, you still have to put side by side, however you'd like to do it, you have to keep Pete Rose at the top of that list.
Sure. And one thing I think about is the majority of Ichiro's career was not in Japan. Even though he played 9 years and had 7 batting titles and over 1,500 hits there, in 15 years of Major League Baseball service, he's also won 6 or 7 batting titles. He broke Gene Sizzler's all-time single-season hits record at 252. He's closing in on 3,000. So to play what if, I think Pete Rose may be a little agitated, and he should be thankful Ichiro didn't start in Major League Baseball, because on the career arc he's been,
right,
how could you not say he wouldn't have broken that record?
He would have broken it 2 years ago. Probably. He would have broken it 2 years ago. And like I said, I have the utmost respect for Charlie Hustle. I think Pete Rose is one of the greatest of all time. I don't care if he ever wears a uniform professionally again. I do believe he should be in the Hall of Fame based on his accomplishments.
Hear, hear.
I will never back down off that theory. But that's just me. Yeah, it's going to be a coin toss in that particular regard, because you've got arguments on both sides which hold a lot of water.
Well, I think back to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the National Football League. They acknowledge Warren Moon's over 21 or 23,000 passing yards he accumulated while playing in the CFL.
Right.
Which is another professional league. And I don't think there's any disregard or any negative connotations that could be taken with that. He accomplished those feats. They do the separate. I think the same thing with Ichiro. Professional baseball's all-time hit king. You see the stats from Japan as well as MLB, and
right.
Then you see Rose and MLB, like you said. I don't see what the big deal is. I mean, and I've always defended Pete Rose through everything. I think he's a pompous ass, if I can say that. I think he's a jerk, sure, but he played the game the right way, and He's got a lot of good, theories about professional baseball and how it should be played. But that's not about his character. But on this one, I can't defend it, because it just felt like such a heinous attack on a guy that has never ruffled the feathers of anyone.
No. He has come in, he has made his noise behind the plate, he has made his noise with a bat in his hand, he has not done it behind a microphone. And that's something you have to respect. Nor has he kicked anybody in the crotch.
Well, and my closing thought on Ichiro, a lot of people didn't even know he's still been in Major League Baseball the last time.
Did not know.
He's bounced around with the New York Yankees and now the Miami Marlins, which is still hard for me to say, but he's still getting it done. I mean, he's batting like .323 this year at the age of 42.
You know, if he was on a team that was a pure contender right now, that would be beautiful. Cubbies, get him.
Oh, I know. Could you imagine? Oh.
You had a .323 average to the Cubs lineup? Oh, my God, here we go.
Oh, well, since you brought up the Cubs, I have been very cautious to say the year's not the year. We've rehashed that when you haven't won since 1908. Things just aren't guaranteed. But you get to looking at this, they are on a pace that was set by the all-time team ever, the 1927 Yankees. They are on that pace in the win column, and it's scary to think. We're through the first 2.5 months now of the season, and they're still on that pace. And it's getting harder and harder for me to say they're not going to win the division. But I will still maintain that if you get into that first round of the playoffs and they play, say, an L.A. Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw is every bit as good as Jake Arrieta, if not better.
Right. But see, also, they're still leading the division. St. Louis is behind them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're still going to...
Well, that's what I meant. Yeah, I'm getting to the point where I think they'll win the division, but that first-round series, which is a best-of-5, not best-of-7,
right,
hot pitching can get you going, in a heartbeat.
That is very true. That is oh so very true. And by the way, I still have to sit back and say, yeah, your Cubs took 2 out of 3 from my Braves last weekend.
Well, if it's any consultation, I took my father to that game, and we were going up, and I said, you know what, I've got this sneaky feeling the Braves are going to win tonight. And in the 2 games we don't attend, they'll win. Did it not play out the script? We lose 4-1 to the Atlanta Braves Friday night, hats off, and then Saturday, Sunday beat them by a combined score of 22-2.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking after that Friday night win, lo and behold, it might have been a genuine case of they might have found a key to something, and the key just fell down the sewer grate. Son of a gun.
The Cubs still have to break my heart at least once this season, and that was in person.
I'm sorry about that. Hey, win, lose, or draw, I'm still a Braves fan. Have been.
Oh, absolutely.
Have been for many, many years, all the way back to the days of Claudel Washington and company.
Oh, sure. Ken Obert fell in the gang. Ozzie Virgil.
Yeah.
Ralph B.B. Gar. But, and that's the thing. I had a conversation with some Braves fans. They were talking about, I can't stand it. I can't watch them. I can't this. And I said, this is when you test your true mettle as a fan. I said, folks, I've been a Chicago Cubs fan for over 32 years. You know how many seasons they've made the playoffs in my 32 years?
I know.
5. I said, I've had a lot of testing yourselves with last place finishes, bumbling, bad trades, the Maddox going to the Braves, you name it. I said, this is where you test your true will, because they will turn it around. It may not be next year when they go into the new ballpark, but it will be soon. And when they do, because you went through the hardships and the bad times, it makes the good times so much sweeter.
Oh, God, yes. That's why it's like when I moved to Atlanta in '89 and all of a sudden the '91 season hits and they go from worst to first and go to the World Series. It's like, I knew me moving here was a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for everyone that had went through those bad years with Dale Murphy, still managing to win 2 MVP awards, and, just it was always the game that followed, NWA or WCW wrestling on Saturday nights on the Superstation, and people watched, and those that stuck through it in '91, that was a magical year.
Oh, yeah. Was released earlier today, actually earlier this evening. The 2016 TNA Hall of Famer will be, or the Hall of Fame edition, is former Knockouts champion Gail Kim. Gail's induction is slated to be placed during Bound for Glory later this year. And the official announcement will be coming soon. Gail will join the Dudley Boys, Sting, Kurt Angle, Jeff Jarrett, and Earl Hebner in the TNA Hall of Fame.
Well, I was curious about that coming off of Slammiversary. They didn't give the name this Sunday and said, yes, on programming. Interesting of note, and I'm sure Eddie probably already knows this, it's kind of sad that every Hall of Fame inductor they've got is no longer with the company aside from Earl Hebner.
Yeah, true. Well, Jarrett's still likely to pop in for a minute. I would like to see, and I honestly would like to see Kurt Angle with a short run in WWE just to cap it off, kind of like the relief pitcher, Yankees just retired, can't remember. Oh crap, Mariana.
Mariana. Excuse me, Mariano Rivera.
Yeah. I got his first name, didn't get his last name before you started. But
yeah, I'm like you. I want the whole year of him to get to work with the top guys in WWE that he didn't, which has now been a decade ago. Rehash maybe a couple of old feuds, Cena, but yeah, definitely give him an opportunity with some of those guys from NXT that can go. And I just think he could cap off a brilliant career, God willing, if he stayed healthy for 12 months with WWE.
Can you imagine if there is a tag team match feature and possibly a tag title match if they get one more match between the American Alpha and the Revival, and then have Angle escort American Alpha down to ringside?
I'm telling you, I would love to see Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe get the opportunity to do what they did in TNA on a much grander scale.
Oh, hell yeah. The question is, how willing would Kurt be to go to NXT first? Here's the trick. Kurt Angle is an intelligent man. Kurt knows that if Joe, who was a mainstay in everything from PWG to Ring of Honor to Impact, if he was willing to go, he can go. Bobby Roode, staple. If he's willing to go NXT, Kurt could too. I mean, not everybody's going to sit back and agree with me going, well, Kurt's a former gold medalist. You want to double check Gable's accomplishments? And he's at NXT. I think it would be a phenomenal thing, and can you imagine the credibility it would add even if Kurt Angle walks in the door for one appearance on a takeover?
Oh, my gosh.
And then
could you imagine if they popped him as the final draft selection on the draft?
Oh, that'd be beautiful. For the love of God, hold on to him and give him to SmackDown.
We get to hear that old Kurt Angle WWE entrance.
Yeah, but I'm pissed off. We won't be able to hear the Donald Trump intro anymore due to the fact they use that for Money in the Bank.
Mm-hmm.
Boo. Hiss. Speaking of Money in the Bank, on a totally unrelated corporate issue, this Saturday night, and I know you and I haven't talked about this in advance. You didn't know I was going to spring this one on you.
No.
I made a reference to it during a previous segment. Stranglehold, the Anniversary show, this Saturday night in Carrollton. The cage is going to be getting overtime. Because before the main event takes place, one-on-one women's steel cage match between two individuals that have a little bit of history and a lot of bad blood. And I'm referring to Merica Strong and Pandora. I'm going to sit back and say this, kids. For those who don't know the backgrounds of these two in-ring performers, study up. And if you live in the southeastern U.S., you have a clue. You've seen Merica on Ring of Honor as part of the Get Along Gang, the GAG with Mike Posey. From that vantage point also, you have seen Pandora in a number of different venues. DVD, YouTube, iPay-per-view. She's been around on a number of different mediums. She's had some stellar matches. These two don't like each other. Look, it's no secret that in some areas Pandora has chosen to go her own path. It's no secret that in some areas Merica has chosen to go her own path. But regardless of what path these two take, or have taken in recent days, the fact that does not change is the fact that these two don't like each other. These are very strong and strong-willed women. Pandora has proven her mettle. Merica continues to prove that she belongs inside the squared circle. And this Saturday night, these two will be not only inside the squared circle one-on-one, they will be inside a steel cage. Shane?
A lot of people think on the independent scene, ladies wrestling is a rarity. how much more rare is ladies wrestling inside a 15-foot high steel cage?
Very rare.
It's definitely the first women's or ladies cage match in Peachstate history in 8 years. The record books show they've met on 2 different occasions. One was a mixed tag, Pandora and AJ Steele versus Tommy Too Much and Merica. Pandora and AJ gaining the victory that night. After that, Merica Strong is 1-0 in her career against Pandora. Now, Pandora is no stranger to cage matches. This will be Merica's first as an active participant.
Right.
But I don't know on this one. Merica Strong's gotten better because I've watched some of her matches she's been having outside of Peachstate, places in Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. She's getting that variety, the spice of life to work with. And I think Pandora is going to see a very different Merica Strong than the one she saw at the beginning of March.
Normally you can say, oh, what a difference a day makes. But in this case, it's more than just one day. And the thing that's impressed me about Merica, like I said, and she and I have had some great conversations behind the scenes. Pulling back the curtain, of course, she's been a guest on the To Be Determined show, but I've also had a chance to sit down and have some in-depth conversations with her. She listens, and she learns. But you also have to remember that for the longest time that she was the right arm and the enforcer for Tommy Too Much, who is the current and new PWA Heritage Champion. So she's had a chance to learn not only the technical side of life, but also how to cut a couple of corners. But Merica, here's the part that I'm going to give you. Every corner you're just now learning how to cut, Pandora's taken a chainsaw to. You have to keep that in perspective, right, Shane?
Absolutely. Pandora definitely knows the tricks of the trade.
Tell you what, can you hang for one more quick segment?
Sure thing, baby.
Folks, tell you what, going to take a brief bottom of the hour break. Even though our timetable's been off all evening, what the hell? Meeting with the tribe at Full Range Entertainment. Hang tight. Folks, we'll be back on Back to Basics in just a moment.
Sunday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern here on BeyondRingside.com. Join us for the Midnight Black Mass. Myself, the Reverend Dan Wilson, brings you the dark gospel of professional wrestling, uncensored, unedited, uncut, and not for the faint of heart. You can find out more about us at youtube.com/pottyhumor or subscribe at Potty Humor on iTunes and Stitcher today.
When planning your next party or special event, insist on the best. Full Range Entertainment is a professional entertainment company providing a full range of services. From professional disc jockeys and MCs to catering and photography, when the details of your special day must be perfect, call us first. Wedding receptions, corporate parties, school functions, birthday celebrations, and more. We also have Birmingham's largest selection of karaoke tracks available. With over 40 years combined experience, Full Range Entertainment can provide you with the talent and professionalism you need and deserve to make your next event one you'll never forget. For more information on the full range of services we offer, call 533-HITS. That's 533-HITS. Or check us out on our website at fullrangeentertainment.com.
What's up, everybody? This is the Master of Malice, Mark James, and you are locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Howdy, friends. This is the Magic City Motor Mouth, Fast Eddie Lane, with your invitation to join yours truly, along with Mark Mabo Bowman and the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, every Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific, for Beyond Ringside Live. Wrestling, mixed martial arts, sports talk, and a whole lot more. Keep your eyes open on BeyondRingside.com for all of upcoming show information, and of course, catch us on social media as well. Until then, we'll see you this Sunday, 6:30 Eastern, for Beyond Ringside Live on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
Hello, wrestling fans. This is Action Mike Jackson, 9 times U.S. Junior Champion, first ever Alabama champion, and I want to tell you what I'm tuned into, Beyond Ringside.
This is Brian Alexander the Great. You're locked into Beyond Ringside.
live on this 14th day. I got 24 minutes left in Tuesday, so I'm going to stick with it, even though it is Wednesday on the East Coast. And those of you to the west of me, y'all still got a couple of minutes left in the night, so enjoy them while you can. I have to laugh because this day flew by so fast in some segments and went so slow in others. Welcome back into Back to Basics. Fast Eddie Lane from Studio One and live from the Peachstate, Shane Noles.
Glad I could slow the pace down to a crawl.
Oh, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. This last little while has flown by. You did not slow the damn thing down. And, you know, for those who have been listening this evening, it is a loaded couple of weeks coming up. This weekend is going to be absolutely insane. Let me go ahead and run this one down. As far as appearances go, I'm going to take this one before we hit shameless plugs. From Global Championship Wrestling's GCW Radio, Mad Dog Dan Sawyer will be appearing with Arcadian Wrestling Association this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Thursday in McMinnville, Tennessee. Friday in Springfield, Tennessee. Saturday in Gallatin, Tennessee. This coming Saturday, the Beyond Ringside family of shows will be very well represented at Stranglehold, the anniversary show from Peachstate Wrestling Alliance in Carrollton, Georgia. The Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, will be managing in the main event, Survival Games. And, of course, my tag team partner on the Shooters Gallery, who is here with me tonight, Shane Noles, will be in Survival Games at Peachstate Wrestling Alliance. Also made a reference, you've heard it earlier, and if you've been watching social media, remember, ProWrestlingRadio.net is usable and is accessible through mobile devices on all formats. It has been tested on BlackBerry, Android, Apple, and Amazon products. It does play quite nicely. The Beyond Ringside Radio app will be working this weekend, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Live Beyond Ringside on the road, game day, match day, all of the above. Live from Carrollton, Georgia at Central Elementary before Stranglehold. Also, this coming Sunday, and I apologize before I hit Sunday, also on this Saturday night, one of my tag team partners on Back to Basics, Phil Stamper, will be with MCW at Base Brawl. We're going to cover that, going to give you that information back in just a couple of minutes. And this coming Sunday, yours truly will be back with Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment for Bobby and Stan's Most Excellent Tag Team Adventure. This coming Sunday, 2800 Campbellton Road in Atlanta, 4 p.m. start time. So it's going to be a loaded weekend, and there are rumors in the works that the SS Schmidtke and Mark Mabo Bowman will be making their way to Peachstate as well, possibly for the live pre-show. Working on details as we speak. Give us time on that one. Also,
oh my gosh, the possibilities of having the almost over half of the BR family in attendance gives me goosebumps.
Reverend Dan Wilson for the Midnight Black Mass is going to be off this week, but he will be back in action with Why We Wrestle back at the church, 4236 Level Grove Road, on their very next live outing. Going to have a lot more information on that. This coming Sunday, the trifecta will be on hold for numerous reasons, especially due to the fact that, I think the Midnight Black Mass might try to tape something. There is a possibility that Corner to Corner may try to tape something and have it available through their Spreaker feed. And I'll get it over on this. I'll get both shows over on the station as soon as they're made available to me. So it's going to be chaos this weekend.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to Stranglehold, Eddie. And we mentioned one of the cage matches taking place. I want to mention another match. AJ Steele and Tommy Too Much. Have you had the opportunity to see the promos these gentlemen have put up on social media within the last 24 hours?
No, I have not.
I think those will be, I saw one on Tommy Too Much's own page. I saw it on AJ Steele's page. Those will be loaded up to the Peachstate event page, Stranglehold, hopefully soon. But one thing I wanted to address that's been taking a lot of back flack.
You there?
Champion.
Hold up. Say it again. Say that last part again. You broke out.
There's one thing I wanted to address that's been taking some flack, and rightfully so. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Tommy Too Much is the new PWA Heritage Champion. thanks to the advisor to the Georgia Athletic Commission, Bill Behrens, as well as referee Tristan Michaels and Merica Strong. No matter how you dice it, Tommy Too Much is the new Heritage champion. In the video, you can see him sitting at his bar at his house, drinking a glass of brandy with the Heritage title in front of him or behind him. And he says he advises AJ Steele to not show up this Saturday to Stranglehold. And the reason why is you don't want this. This is Tommy Too Much's words, not mine. This does not reflect anything in Peachstate Wrestling Alliance except his own individual views. And you'll see why I say the flack. Tommy said, I'm not the best wrestler in the company. I would probably give that to Jimmy Reyes. I'm not the most in-shape wrestler in the company. That would go to Tyson Dean. I'm not the best technical wrestler. Probably go to Kyle Matthews. But he said, I am the smartest. And it would behoove AJ Steele to not show up this Saturday knowing the consequences, because if he does, and this is his words, he will be the second ape tranquilized and then put down this month. Now, for those that may be listening, Tommy Too Much, that is not a reflection on race towards anyone else except towards AJ Steele, and he made that clear. It's only directed to AJ Steele. I just wanted to get that out there. It is not a reflection of people of color in general, fans, anything. This is just showing how hated it's gotten between these two. And it reminds me a little bit of the late Muhammad Ali taking shots at Joe Frazier. It wasn't towards the race in general. It was the individual. And the bad blood that is stimulated between these two, we've talked about it on any number of occasions. It's bad. And this time it's for the Heritage title at the 8-year anniversary event, Stranglehold. And I haven't had the opportunity to see AJ's response to Tommy, but I'm almost going to bet profanity was used within the first 5 seconds, because we both know AJ Steele.
Yep.
And hearing verbiage like that, I'm sure does not sit well with the challenge.
Probably not at all. Oh, my God. I really wanted to do the Joey Styles version of that, but I figured I'd stick with the David Letterman. Oh, my God. But, yeah, that's a name a lot of y'all haven't heard for a while. Sorry, Dave. But, open notation, Bill Behrens, please do not make this a no disqualification false count anywhere match yet.
Well, I almost wonder the ramifications now have been put in play. There was already bad blood, a feud on and off since October.
Yes.
The title on the line, and then to use something topical, a very divided issue, and direct that at AJ Steele, Tommy Too Much, and I use this sometimes when I say this about him, he may have bitten off a little bit more too much than he can chew. Because AJ Steele is a formidable challenger in his own right. You don't need to poke the bull, so to speak.
The one thing the X-Men don't want to do is piss off the Juggernaut.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently that could have already happened. Folks, I'll lay this down like this. You heard Shane make a reference to last October. To say that Tommy Too Much, in and of himself, when he decides to grab a microphone, and Tommy Too Much with a live microphone, it's like giving me a pass to the all-you-can-eat buffet. Oh, boy. Somebody gonna get in trouble. Somebody gonna get hurt. Something gonna happen. Just ask the person who stood between me at the crab legs a couple of years ago at Mr. Wang's. Bad move. I hit 3-point stance, and they went flying up into the twice-cooked pork. Not kidding. But they dared me. So did Tommy and Alex Wang, the owners. But coming back to seriousness for a hot second, you give Tommy Too Much a live microphone, anything is liable to be said. He's got the balls to say it, but he's also got the brass to back it up. And I'm not going to take either side in this one. AJ Steele and I are longtime friends and longtime colleagues. Tommy Too Much and I are good friends and good colleagues. I mean, are great colleagues. And I will sit back and say this, that is going to be a bomb waiting to go off. I don't think it's going to make it till the bell starts the match. And if I'm Bill Behrens, stay the hell out of the way.
I would agree. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot easier to pull off something when you're unprepared. But people now know what Bill Behrens and Tristan Michaels are capable of. They know whose side they're on, and instead of being neutral, they have sided with Tommy too much. And I'm like you. The bell may not even have to ring. I mean, I can't imagine these two staying back in the locker rooms, until it's time for their scheduled bout. I mean, this one may spill out early.
Pierce, grab the mobile cam. That's all I can say. And by the way, friends, quick reminder, this will be a DVD taping for Peachstate Wrestling Alliance video. Bring your signs, bring your posters, bring your banners, bring your T-shirts. Bring your happy ass ready to have some fun this coming Saturday night in Carrollton. I am very glad to be able I am very glad to be able to return behind the microphone this coming Saturday night in Carrollton at Central Elementary School. I'm really looking forward to it. Always have a lot of fun. David Pierce is always the genuine article, a smooth operator, and always fun to work with. And getting ready to do the pre-show before showtime this coming Saturday is going to be an absolute blast. I'm looking forward to having some fun.
I definitely look forward to that, and we can go down the rest of the card, maybe save it for the Shooters Gallery. But I did want to mention on the pre-show, and I think Eddie was cool with this. If not, correct me, but there will be interviews with talent as they arrive at the venue at 6 o'clock Eastern. Doors open at 6:30, and we'll go a little bit that. But if a fan has a question for any of the talent that is involved in Stranglehold, you may get the opportunity to hear your question read on the air.
Yes. I'm actually going to go one step further.
I'm really looking forward to the countdown for this.
I'm going to go one step further because what I'm going to try to do, keyword try, folks, I am trying to make sure that things can be set up to where we can actually have a live microphone set for the fans to be able to come up and ask questions directly. When the doors open, depending on who's on the staging area with us during the interview segments, okay, if you can't do it right then, we will come back and we will do a post show and we'll try to get some of the talent back out there for the post show. The post show will probably be taped. The pre-show, LIVE live. So as the week progresses, even more surprises will be unveiled. And I'm looking forward to it. Always, always, always a good time. Hashtag pre-show party at Peachstate.
That's it. And this is our largest card outside of a Battle Bowl event in our 8-year history. 8 matches on the card, all signed this Saturday. Special start time, 7:30 Eastern. And I said I'd save it for Thursday, but real quick, for those, I've still had some that didn't attend last year, some that did. It's okay to rehash. We don't insult you. That's what we're here for. Survival Games is this. It is War Games format with Survivor Series elimination rules. One member of each team will start the bout. Every, I believe, 4-minute intervals, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure if it's 3, 5, 4, somewhere in there. Bill Behrens, I guess, will be making that decision Saturday. There will be a coin toss. One representative of each team enters, just like War Games. Once all 10 men, all 5 of both sides are in, not one pinfall, not one submission, an entire team has got to go. All 5 members eliminated. The catch, there are 2 rings, only one is surrounded by steel bars, 15-foot high steel cage. All pinfalls and submissions must take place inside the cage, a true penalty box. I think you're going to see some very interesting strategies, and I'm saying that as an outsider and as well as someone involved in the match, because that's something I've got to thinking about. You really don't want to find yourself in the ring without the cage when you do not have the numbers. And I know Eddie knows what I'm talking about. If you find yourself in there with 3 members of the other team in the cage, it might be, you don't want to find yourself in the cage like that. You may want to make sure you're in that regular cage because you cannot be eliminated. That's the strategy. You could get in that other ring and still take a powder, take a breather. There's no countouts. I just would not want to find myself in the cage without the numbers advantage because there are strength in numbers.
Right. We're always strength in numbers. Oh, brother, I got to do it. I'm going to wait. Real quick. Question right off the top of your head from tonight at Useless Trivia.
Well, I'll go with the same name question here. Which U.S. state capital city shares its name with a variety of breakfast food? This was a tough one. And I had a couple of teams give me Bismarck, the capital of South Dakota, because for a donut. And like I said, donuts can be eaten at breakfast. Heck, pizza and hamburgers can be. I've done it. But donuts are classified as a dessert or a snack treat.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one state capital that shares its name with a variety, a type of breakfast food.
Oh, God, and I know it's not Kellogg, Pennsylvania. Or is it Kellogg? No, because Kellogg's not even a capital city.
Think western states.
Yeah. I'm sorry, kids. I know we have dead air because I'm trying not to run them. I'm trying not to run through them live. Okay. I just ran most of the western states. The only one that did New Mexico.
And now I'll go ahead and give it to you at the capital of Colorado, Denver, the Denver omelet.
Oh, shoot. Did not even think about that.
Let's see. Oh, I did an interesting list bonus, which for a DJ such as Eddie Lane,
oh, God,
some of these would be very simple. Backup bands. The Heartbreakers, the backup band for Tom Petty. Of course, that's how this would work. I gave you a list of backup bands and give me the artist that they are the backup band for. So I'll run them real quick. There's only one that I think you'll have trouble with. The Ace in the Hole band is the backing band for.
It's not Ace Frehley, but it's, oh God, I know who that is, and I can't remember. Go ahead.
George Strait.
Thank you.
The Destroyers.
George Thorogood and the Delta Destroyers.
Correct. The Blackhearts.
Joan Jett.
Double Trouble.
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
See, I knew you'd be knocking these out. The TCOB band.
Elvis
Taking
Presley.
Care of Business band.
Elvis Presley.
Correct. And the last one I thought that might be difficult, another country artist, his backing band is known as the Babylonian Cowboys.
It's not Dwight Yoakam.
That is correct. Great job. Great job.
You know, amazingly enough, you left the wall of sound out of that.
Oh, my gosh. The Wall of Sound. I'm trying to think who that might be. Can you hang on just a second?
Okay. Taking the chance that Shane might actually not be able to hear, I'll give the polar acronym on this one. If you have enemies on top of a skyscraper, acronym. But in all seriousness, it's funny because we actually went ahead and counted it. I thought it was Dwight Yoakam, but I said, no, that's too obvious. While I have a second, I'm going to go ahead and run this down for everybody. Live programming will resume a little bit later, Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, with the To Be Determined show, the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, Angie Nemesis. And I'll go ahead and say this. He promised it last week, and if things worked out, he has got a blockbuster lined up for tonight on the To Be Determined show. Shooters Gallery returns live Thursday night, 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central Time. The trifecta is on hold for Sunday. We have a surprise coming your way. Watch our Facebook and our Twitter accounts. Once again, of course, on Saturday night, 6 Eastern, 5 Central, live from Peachstate Wrestling Alliance. Shane, go ahead. You back? He was back for a second. Still live radio. You gotta love it when that happens, even at 11:55 p.m. Lost him. Damn, I hate it when that happens. His phone must have went kaput. I'll keep a watch on the Skype line, but I'm going to go ahead and come over here and hit the little piece of music, folks, and I will give everybody the brief rundown. For me personally, hold on. Welcome back in. We got you this time.
Oh, sorry about that. I was going to say, approached by one of Jacksonville, Alabama's finest. Police officer asking, was everything okay, as I have not left the venue, and I realize I'm the only one in the parking lot.
Oh, boy.
Love live radio here on ProWrestlingRadio.net.
There you go. Did you figure out the band I was talking about?
Oh, the Whale of Sound.
Wall of Sound.
Oh, the Wall of Sound.
Wall of Sound.
The Whalers. I was thinking Bob Marley. Wall of Sound. No, I'll check. Yes, male or female?
Male. The polar opposite.
Eric Clapton?
Nope. The polar opposite of Enemies on Top of the Skyscraper.
Friends of the Building. I don't know.
No, instead of Enemies on the top of the skyscraper, you would have Friends in Low Places. The Wall of Sound is the backup band for Garth Brooks.
Oh, I'm writing that one down. Jesus, I forgot all about that.
Uh-huh. You forget I've seen him a couple of times on this current tour and wouldn't miss it. I would love to be in Las Vegas on July the 4th, but unfortunately I cannot make my way to the T-Mobile Arena, and tickets for 2 shows at Yankee Stadium have pretty much sold the hell out. Seriously. The man's breaking attendance records everywhere he goes, and more power to him. Congratulations. Kind of like Justin Timberlake breaking records all over the place right now with the new hit single, Can't Stop the Feeling. My hat's off.
Good song. I got to say, it's catchy.
It is the feel-good song of the summer, if not the year. The song has broken records all over the place, debuting #1 Billboard Hot 100, number one most during its debut week, #1 most watched Vivo, YouTube, and other sources. 24 hours after it was released, #1 on iTunes, Amazon, Pandora, and 2 other different services. Congratulations, Timberlake. You did good, kid. Let's go and run it down real quick. Shane, go in, throw them out there. Shameless plugs.
Useless Trivia wrapped up this evening at Loco Mexican restaurant down in Jacksonville, Alabama. That takes place Mondays at 7 o'clock. Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock. Same format for Useless Trivia. Teams that place first, second, and third walk away with house cash gift certificates to be used on the day you play. Also, Wednesday nights, we're entering, already a month. It's funny how time flies. Locos Cantinas, Mexican restaurant down in Piedmont, Alabama, not far from some of our friends in Pro South. Actually, it's less than half a mile from the Pro South Arena.
Oh, nice.
So it's pretty cool there. And looking forward to, when you use a phrase, lifted from one Eddie Lane, all roads lead to Stranglehold this Saturday, Peachstate's 8-year anniversary event. The response has been phenomenal. I can't wait. We've got the hashtag pre-show party at Peachstate, the countdowns. We've got 8 matches on the card, survival games, 2 cages, 2 completely different cage matches. And I didn't even mention yet, but I'm going to now, the savior of pro wrestling, Jimmy Rave, and Kyle Matthews in singles action, ladies on the card. Who knows what kind of surprises. And folks, I want to get this in here, a training seminar. From 2:30 to 5 o'clock Eastern, 1:30 to 4 o'clock Central. Total Protection, Mr. Hughes, competitor in WWE, WCW, AWA, ECW, and any number of promotions. If anyone's been in pro wrestling, I'd say in the last 25, 30 years, Hughes has worked them or been around them.
Probably.
Guys like Apollo Crews. I'm sorry?
Yeah, you're right. Keep going.
Yeah, Heath Slater in WWE, Hughes put him in there, in the ring. This is your opportunity, folks. A training seminar, $25 flat rate, 2.5 hours with one of the sharpest minds in pro wrestling, a guy that's put a lot of people in a pair of wrestling boots, including in some very prominent places. Here's the catch. No joke, no gimmicks, no tricks. Whoever Mr. Hughes thinks is the best at the seminar this Saturday will wrestle Mr. Hughes at Stranglehold that night. So not only do you get the opportunity from knowledge to learn, you get an opportunity, perhaps, to wrestle at Peachstate Wrestling Alliance, biggest event of the year. For more information on that, you can call us at 770-328-1162. You can email us at pwafanbase@yahoo.com. Peachstate also has a Facebook page, Instagram, and on Twitter at The Real PWA. Front row seating, $12 across the board, all sold out. As of Sunday evening, 100 front row seats gone. There's about 62 second row seats down on the floor available. About 45 of those are gone, so still about 17 seat opportunity if you want floor seating second row. Get with us. If not, it's going to be headed straight to the bleachers, which to me sometimes is still the best view, especially with 2 rings, 1 cage.
Looking forward to it. Folks, for me personally, on my side of the board, at FastEddieLane. www.fasteddylane.com. That's the easy way to find me now. I'm still on social media to a degree. You'll still see me on Facebook every once in a while, MySpace, Instagram, LinkedIn, Google+, Twitter, Periscope, and Snapchat. But from that vantage point, please, once again, I'm taking everything back to FastEddieLane.com. For the show, for the station, at Beyond Ringside on Twitter and Periscope. Facebook.com/Beyond Ringside and Facebook.com/Beyond Ringside Live. MySpace.com/Beyond Ringside. Yes, MySpace still exists and there's real people on there. At Beyond Ringside on Twitter. No, there is not a Beyond Ringside Instagram. I'll handle that through my personal account. So if there's an Instagram account called Beyond Ringside, it's not us. It's a fraud. Until I get it. I haven't decided yet. But from that vantage point, BeyondRingside.com is the home. Remember, YouTube.com/user/BeyondRingside. Keep your eyes open. New videos go up on almost a daily basis now. And I have a lot of fun doing them. Folks, we're going to call it a broadcast day here at the Radio Ranch. Remember, live programming will resume at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, Wednesday, June 15th. The To Be Determined show. Better lock it in. Hashtag NSFW. Hashtag Wrestling Radio Uncensored. Hashtag and then some. Thank you again for everybody who tuned in for GCW Radio earlier this evening. Mad Dog Dan Sawyer, Wicked Nemesis, Josh O'Hagan. Thank you guys. Always a blast. Tonight on Back to Basics, Philip Stamper. Hope everything goes well this coming weekend with MCW at Base Brawl. Josh Wheeler, looking forward to Sunday. Shane, always a pleasure, my friend. For tag team partners, Shane Noles.
Thank you for having me, Eddie. Look forward to the Shooters Gallery alongside you and hopefully Stan Grubb on Thursday. Thank you for having me. I know it was kind of a surprise when I tried to piggyback my way onto the program, but I missed you and our banter, sir.
Not a problem. I am the Magic City Motor Mouth Fast Eddie Lane saying until next time, adios, das vidania, hasta luego, auf Wiedersehen, ciao, sayonara, adieu, arrivederci, farewell, abasino, au revoir, until we meet again, aloha does mean bye-bye. Join us right here next time as we all go beyond ringside. Bye for now.